What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're back in Dinos, here for a push day. We're going to keep this a little bit shorter today because the goal of this video is obviously to talk about the title, the new training program, the new nutrition program, the drugs, and the overall new plan from the new coach, which I cannot wait to take you through. So we're going to keep this a little bit shorter. We'll talk you through the depths of everything a little bit later. What a video this will be for a lot of people, I'm sure. A lot of people are probably going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what's happening? It's happened, and it's happening. I have got a new coach after 5 incredible years with Cal Raystrick from, I was gonna say the Muscle Mentors then, but that's what I'm so used to, but from Pro Coach. I've decided to part ways. We have decided to part ways, and it doesn't come like it's not a light decision, of course. Like 5 years, I have gone from boy to man, from natural to not, from amateur to pro, with Cal behind me, by my side, and leading the way. And it's been an absolutely incredible journey. What a journey it has been. Very, very humbling experience, motivating experience, and one that I'm never ever gonna forget. And I was saying just today earlier on with someone else who's coached by Cal, who also got his pro card with Cal, that moment in time is locked forever. You know, that pinnacle moment where I achieved my decade-long goal happened with him, and it's going to be locked in there forever. Now, a lot of you guys are going to wonder who I'm going to, but also you're going to wonder why I'm leaving and the reasoning behind that. So before I say who, I'm sure loads of you have already worked out, but why? And I'll talk to you kind of like how I talked to Cal. I said, Cal, I need to talk. And it's one of those things where after 5 years of being with someone, that little je ne sais quoi just starts to escape, that little spice. And I think maybe mutually that happened. I think when you're a high level coach with unbelievable athletes coming through your ranks, it's like, it's impossible to have that spice around every single athlete, whether you like it or not. And I've had my spice with him. You know, we've had our incredible moment that pro card year, and I've got no issues with someone having their moments with Cal, or Cal having his moments with them, whether that be Joe back in the day, whether that be Val, whether that be any one of his other clients. That is just the beauty of bodybuilding, and it's beautiful to watch as well, for me, to watch him flourish with other clients. And I think I needed that change. I think for me, I needed to be put back into that kind of student-teacher role. Not that he ever didn't become the teacher, he always was, but I kind of needed to change schools, if that makes sense. I needed to change schools and be a little bit like, oh my God, I need to find my feet here and potentially just establish myself as that subordinate role, and needed something new in my life. I needed to change focus. I needed someone who could potentially bring me a little bit more, and also maybe had that excitement about me again. Like, there's nothing like a fresh partnership of potential. There's nothing like it. And I kind of wanted that again. I wanted to search for that again, and I wanted to go with someone who I had learned a lot off, but someone who also all the top coaches learn off, and all of the seminars around the world are learning off, and one of the leading educators of bodybuilding. I wanted to be with one of those people. I wanted to be with one of those big names, just to see if that meticulousness was different, the process was different, and just generally speaking, there was something else out there. I mean, you're never going to know unless you try. And I think after 5 years of huge achievements with Cal, the time was now. You know, the time was now. And I think this transition period from men's physique to classic provided that perfect platform for me to make that transition. You know, I'm not going to go and compete in 3 months or 1 month or 6 months or anything. It's going to be a long time till I compete again. And that's the platform and the new slate you need with a coach. In my opinion, you need months and months and months and months of them learning your body, understanding each other before you enter like a prep phase. The last thing I wanted to do was be with Cal the entire off season, knowing I wanted to leave at some point, get to a prep and be like, Cal, I'm going to go with someone else for prep. That was never going to be the case. I've got way too much respect for Cal, way too much respect for our relationship for me to kind of beat around the bush. And I was never going to be the guy who said I wanted a break. I was never going to be the guy who lied to Cal and said that I was going to stop. I was always going to say it straight up front. And when I felt that feeling kind of creep in, potentially over the last 6 to 8 weeks of when I was really delving into my own education and pushing things in another direction, I kind of knew that maybe this was going to happen, and this just provided the platform to do it. So before any y'all chat some shit and try and find some beef, there is never going to be anything with Cal. He is like a brother to me, you know. He is one of my favorite people on this planet, one of my best friends on this planet, and I owe so much of my career to him. So, you know, forever thankful, forever grateful, but super excited for a new challenge and super excited for a new coach. I am alive again. I can feel it in my fingers, like everywhere. I can feel it every time I train. I'm like, new program, gotta impress. I'm taking photos and I'm like, I've got to get the perfect photos, you know, because I want to impress this guy and I want to achieve this on a very, very high level. So without further ado, my new coach is going to be John Jewett. Those of you guys who don't know John Jewett, you've got to get to know him. He is the owner and runner of J3 University, or J3 University, which is John Jewett's university. He is the leading, in my opinion, educator on PEDs, bodybuilding, and if you were to do a university course on bodybuilding, he literally provides you one, from drugs, from peak week, from off-season, on-season, dieting, diet breaks, training plans, every single aspect of bodybuilding he presents in modules, which is absolutely incredible. And I've taken all the modules, I've learned from him. The things that I have learned have completely changed my own coaching philosophy, but also the philosophy that I want to take on myself. So that is it, guys. I am moving coaches. It's a hell of an exciting challenge. I rang Cal the week after my prep to let him know, and within a day or so, I had already got on the call with John and explained where I wanted to go, and ultimately we have begun that process. So this video is to just outline what that process is going to be. What is the training program? What is the drug protocol? What is the next steps for me and John? And I'm going to lay that out for you right now. So first of all, training, same split. Same fucking split. Not to be like same split, very different volume, very different exercises, and a little bit more tactical volume for those places that I'm going. So it is still a push, pull, rest, push, legs, pull. But on that push day, there's a lot more arms. On that first pull day, there is a lot of hamstrings. There's also a lot of glutes on there as well. And there's also some lower back loading, guys. You guys know that my glaring weakness, I think, especially when I'm throwing classic poses, guys, you got to think I'm getting my floors exposed now. You stand front, you stand to the back, you're not exposing your floors as much when you're throwing arms up, you're throwing side chest, you got to throw a rear dub, you got to throw a lat spread. And when I do throw those poses, the weaknesses for me are glaring. Peaks in the biceps, thickness in the lower back, width in the lower back, and then I just need to grow everywhere. Like, I'm not big enough everywhere for classic. So that second pull day, posterior day, glutes, hamstrings, lots of hamstrings and glutes to really load that posterior chain. The second push day is predominantly delt dominated, with a lot of triceps in there, guys. So, you know, a lot of arm volume across the week. And as we do break down these sessions like we always do, you know, we do those sessions of breaking down a push day with Josh, IFBB Pro push days, all those kind of things. I will talk you through like the amount of volume that we're doing, the exercise, the angles that we're doing a little bit later on down the line. But I wanted to just spend time now explaining the full split. Resting on Wednesdays as always. Thursday was the second push day. Friday is going to be another pull day, but there's going to be no lower loading on there. And the reason why we moved our leg session after that pull day is potentially that leg day is so energy demanding. Like, technically you should be in the bin the next day. And I look back in hindsight, that Friday leg day that we used to do definitely affected that Saturday pull session. Now with that pull session and back being a priority, we've just skipped that forward to Friday. John has moved that, I shouldn't say we, John has moved that to Friday because we want to emphasize that back and we don't need to take away from legs. And then on the leg day, of course, very, very similar setup, just more hamstrings, and then we've got some glutes in there again. So glutes are getting hit twice a week. I wasn't even hitting glutes before. Gone from 0 a week to twice a week. Hamstrings from 1 a week to twice a week, and more volume. So you can see how this is tactically just building those shots now, along with the outer peak of that bicep being hit every other session or so. The split that I've been on for the last, you know, year or so, just in terms of like splitting the body parts up. It's a very, very good one. And a lot of people use it, push-pull legs, of course, or variations of. So I'm very, very happy to be kind of continuing with that plan. Still in 2 weeks post-show, or 2 weeks and a bit post-show. So we're still doing 5 lots of 25 minutes of cardio. And I plan to probably keep that in for the foreseeable future. Now, obviously, that may and will change. I don't know John's plans with cardio in off-season. I'm very, very intrigued. I feel slightly like in the unknown. What's he going to do? Is he going to do something different? It might end up being the same or similar vibe, but I'm very, very intrigued to see. But there will be still being cardio in. You've got to keep lean. You've got to keep cardiovascularly healthy. You've got to keep blood pressure down. You've got to keep blood glucose okay. And I love that small win at the beginning of the day, getting up and doing that cardio. So very, very happy that we're keeping cardio in. That's the general split. Like I said, we will delve down into that in a longer video just on training, because I know you guys love the training tips there. Drugs, of course, coming down off a blast. That was kind of 1700 milligrams in total, with obviously orals going in, 1000 milligrams of Masteron, T3, T4, Clem, your Himbine, growth hormone, all that stuff was in. All of it has been dropped down to 60 milligrams of testosterone and 40 milligrams of Masteron, and that's every other day now. Now that's to kind of taper down, also keep estrogen in check. If we can, as John said, he wants to try and keep testosterone a little bit higher, because that is going to be slightly more bioidentical than well, it is bioidentical, and it's also going to be ultimately metabolized a little bit better, as well as just not dropping me into the bin after being on like 1500 plus milligrams, right? This will inevitably change based off blood work. So if blood work comes back, and it's absolutely dog shit, like, yeah, we're gonna have to like adjust some things, you know, and focus on that health phase. If it comes back okay, it may well be that this is a modified cruise, a sports cruise, guys. You got to think that I'm not a normal human anymore. I used to be, but what will support a 110 kilo, pretty lean 6'1" dude hormonally might not be the same for a 60 kilo dude. So the 150 milligram TRT days, I don't know if they're over. I'm very, very intrigued to see if they are, but it may be that my TRT days might be slightly higher, as long as blood work permits, guys. And that is the important thing here, as long as blood work permits. I'm very, very excited to take you through that blood work when we receive it. And I'm also going to do that after I receive feedback from John, so I can pass on how he looks at the blood work versus how I look at the blood work, because we may have very different ways. And John's been doing this longer than me. John's been doing this in more depth than me. So, you know, he might see things and draw links to different parts of the blood work that I might not see. So I will definitely relay that to you, and I'm very excited to kind of get that back and relay that to you, especially after a very, very long prep, or I should say a very, very long blast, not prep, because we blast, got bloods back, and they were okay in February, so we kind of kept going. So that's kind of where that is right there. Growth hormone got put back in straight away, which I wasn't expecting. We generally would keep growth hormone out because you have a pretty big fluid fluctuation post-prep. As soon as you pull out fluid, you have a rebound fluid come back up. A lot of people struggle with overeating. A lot of people struggle with just the hell amount of salts that are coming in post-show that you probably aren't used to. I'm pretty damn good at controlling myself now. So my fluid rebound was just from pulling water. I pulled water the Saturday, ate some food. Sunday, you wake up fine pretty much. Monday you wake up bloated in the face. So actually the was it the I'm leaving video? No, it was which one was it? Oh yeah, it was the I quit video. And someone commented, how's this guy got such a skinny neck and a bloated face? And it's good. He's like, well, you got such a skinny face and a skinny neck and a bloated face. And I felt it, I could see it, right? Because you just rebound on that Monday, because you pulled water out, your body's going, no, give me that water back. Tuesday, it kind of settles, and by Wednesday, Thursday, I'm back to normal. However, if you eat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that water turns to fat very quickly. So those guys who your face hasn't come quite back down, you keep going like this, and you think, where's my jaw gone? That's fat, my son. It's there. So fortunately, through 10 years of doing this, 9 attempts, on the 9th time last year, I got it right. This is the 10th time, I'm going to get it right again. I got it right again. So I've managed to control myself very well, which is generally why you wouldn't put growth hormone in. That's what I'm getting at, because you don't want the water rebound. Then you put growth hormone in, it's even more water. You just feel terrible. Blood pressure goes up. It's not great. But I'm good. I'm fine. I can control myself. So growth hormone went in pre-workout. You can feel that straight away, which is incredible. And that's pretty much it from the drug side, which is pretty exciting. Like, you know, I wasn't expecting to see any of that, to be doing that amount every other day. So I'm keen just to see how that unfolds coming into the off season. And we've still got to consider, I'm still in that recovery phase. So the main goal here is just recovery. So next up, the diet. So he didn't want to change too much in terms of dieting. You got to consider when a coach, and many of you guys and girls and theys and thems, maybe coaches yourself, the last thing you want to do is change 100 variables. The last thing you want to do is take someone on and go, right, I want you to do this, 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 and this, because this is what I do. So the food was very similar to what Cal had me on. A few changes in macros, potentially a little bit higher protein, which in hindsight was probably needed. I brought my own protein down because I wanted more carbohydrates. Potentially a little bit, not the best idea post-show because of hunger. So actually putting those proteins back in and taking the carbohydrates back out. We know that protein's more satiating. You're going to stay fuller for longer, so you can have that higher protein also and pretty high muscle mass. So training days, 320 grams of protein, 475 grams of carbs, and 78 grams of fat, 3,875 calories. Non-training days will be 320 grams of protein. They're going to be 325 grams of carbs, and then 75 grams of fat, so 3,168 calories. So a pretty big disparity between training days and non-training days still. Why? Because you have less glycogen demand, less need for energy on those days, less need for recovery on those days. You just need to give your body what it needs to recover. You don't need to go above and surplus on that. So we didn't. That's it. He gives me the ability to pick my own macros. He has pretty rules, suggestions around regular protein feedings, different protein types, different carbohydrate types, different textures, different colors, different vegetables, of course, of every meal, encouraging that micronutrient profile spectrum to be wide. More colors, more flavors, more tastes, more textures, different styles of food. You're gonna get a wider spectrum of micronutrients, which is important. And that's pretty much it. You know, we've had 2 check-ins so far. He's told me off twice out of those 2 things, and it feels kind of good, man. Like, I've not been told off in a while. Nothing crazy, just like, get the lighting right. There's too much shadow here. Can you change this? Can you change that? And it feels good to just have someone on your back. It feels good to have someone hounding you to be better. And John's an Olympian. John has qualified for the Olympia 3 times. You know, to have someone of that caliber with that mindset of, to be an Olympian, you have to act an Olympian. And that doesn't go in the gym and the training and the sleep, and that's a given. It goes in your fucking pictures. It goes down to even your pictures. You know, are you doing it at Olympian level? And that's kind of the sense I get from John, which is incredible. Everything else, pretty straightforward. Of course, supplements aren't going to change too much. Actual supplements, not assisting supplement, because we're trying to look after the organs and whatnot. And that's the setup, guys. Like, any changes he makes to food, training, I will be the first to let you know. But just know that this initial 4 weeks post-show, same as every post-show, guys, it's recovery. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm not trying to gain too much weight here. I'm just trying to establish a very good baseline level of strength, which gives me the ability to then push on when I get back from my deload, which we are going, me and my partner are going away on holiday mid-May. We're going to take 10 days off. I'm not going to take 10 days off. I'm going to take 5 days off. She doesn't know that yet. I'm going to take a bit of time off. And then when I come back, we hit the ground running, and hopefully, touch wood, everything's in a good place that we can start to push up. And that's where the business happens. And that's where the muscle is built. So, new coach, new country, same goal, same motivation. Let's fucking go. Tune in for the next one, guys. Peace and love.